So I have to start this deep dive with a bit of a confession.
Okay, I am intrigued.
Yeah, well, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a really solemn event. I mean, we are talking about a funeral here.
Oh, no.
Right. Everyone is quiet, heads bowed, just total silence. And then, out of nowhere, my wrist just lights up like a disco ball.
Please tell me it wasn't a phone call.
Worse. It was my health tracker. It just decided that was the perfect moment to vibrate aggressively and tell me it's time to stand up.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it literally said, "You've been sedentary for 50 minutes. And I'm sitting there trying to be respectful, and my watch is essentially body-shaming me for mourning.
That is, I mean, it's painfully relatable, honestly. It's basically the soundtrack of modern life, isn't it?
It really is.
We are constantly being poked and prodded and pinged by these devices that supposedly work for us, but, well, they often feel like they're just nagging us.
Exactly. And it feels like everything is a 5-alarm fire. A text message gets the exact same vibration as a breaking news alert, which gets the same vibration as my watch telling me my heart rate variability dropped by 2 milliseconds. Right, it's all urgent. It's this constant language of act now or adjust quickly. There is no nuance.
You've hit on something really profound there, actually, and it's the core theme of what we are unpacking today for you.
Right.
Because we have built this entire technological ecosystem around what sociologists call the economy of urgency.
The economy of urgency.
Yeah, the underlying assumption in almost all modern health tech is that the louder the signal and the faster the feedback, the more important the information is.
Right. The idea is that if it's important, it should be screaming at me.
Exactly.
But today we are pivoting hard. We're looking at a stack of research and notes centered around a really fascinating document from the Finch Q team.
Yes. The quiet advantage.
Right, the quiet advantage, the power of health continuity. And it proposes something that honestly sounds a bit risky in today's attention economy.
It is a massive risk. It asks a huge question. What if the future of health isn't about more data and louder alerts?
Which goes against everything we see on the market right now.
It does. What if the upgrade we actually need is calm?
Calm. See, I have to play devil's advocate right out of the gate here.
Go for it.
When I hear the word calm regarding technology, I think off. Or I think passive.
Sure.
If I'm buying a high-tech health tool, I kind of want it to do something. I want the bells and whistles. Is calm just a fancy marketing word for lazy tech?
That is the million-dollar question. And if we look at the source material, the answer is a definitive no.
Okay.
They argue that calm doesn't mean passive at all. It means steady.
Steady.
Yes. And to understand why that distinction matters, we really have to look at the fundamental mismatch between the technology on your wrist and the biology inside your skin.
Okay. Lay it out for me. What exactly is the mismatch?
It comes down to timescales. Technology operates on the timeline of milliseconds. You click something and it loads. You send a text and it arrives. It creates this dopamine feedback loop that is instant. But biology is painfully, beautifully slow.
Tell me about it. I went for a run yesterday, and I definitely do not have marathon legs today.
Exactly. You don't just transform overnight. Meaningful shifts in human function, like building true tensile strength in your tendons or recovering from nervous system burnout.
Or just adapting to a new level of stability.
Right. Those things don't happen in moments. They happen across what the text beautifully calls seasons of life.
I really paused on that phrase when I was reading through the notes. Seasons of life. It sounds almost poetic, but it's actually a biological reality, isn't it?
It is. Think about tissue adaptation for a second. If you start lifting weights today, your muscles might swell a bit from blood flow.
The pump.
Yeah, the pump.
Yeah.
But the actual structural change, the laying down of new protein filaments, that takes weeks or even months.
It's a slow burn.
The text makes this crucial point that real biological changes do not arrive with warning tones or dramatic signals.
Right. You don't wake up one morning with a flashing light above your head saying, "Update complete. You are now 1% stronger."
I mean, I wish. That would be amazing.
That would be so satisfying.
It'd be satisfying to our tech brains, sure. But it's just not how our biological brains work. And this is exactly where the friction comes from.
The friction between the tech and the body.
Yes. We are using tools designed for instant urgency to monitor a system, our bodies, that operates on long-term continuity.
And when you force those two things together, you just get anxiety.
You get a user who is constantly checking their wrist to see if they've improved in the last hour, which is biologically impossible.
It's like pulling a carrot out of the ground every 10 minutes to see if it's growing.
That is a perfect analogy.
You're just going to kill the carrot.
You will. And the quiet advantage argues that We really need to stop pulling up the carrot. We need a system that respects the season rather than obsessing over the second.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's go back to that funeral example or even just a regular Tuesday at the office. The source material talks a lot about the cost of this loudness. It argues that urgency is difficult to sustain. Why is that? Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can ignore notifications pretty well.
Can you, though? Or are you just exhausting yourself trying to filter them out?
Oh, good point.
There is this concept in clinical medicine called alarm fatigue. It happens all the time in hospitals.
Where there are a million machines beeping.
Exactly. If monitors are beeping constantly for low battery, for slight movement, for actual emergencies, the nurses and doctors eventually become desensitized.
Their brains just tune it out.
Right. The brain literally stops distinguishing between critical and noise.
So because everything is breaking news, nothing is breaking news.
Precisely. The source calls this fragmentation. When your watch buzzes to tell you to breathe, and then buzzes for an email, and then buzzes for a stand goal.
The signal-to-noise ratio gets completely out of whack.
Yes. The paradox mentioned in the text is that the very system designed to increase your awareness ends up completely overwhelming it.
You stop seeing the data because there's just too much of it.
And it's all screaming at the exact same volume.
I've definitely felt that. I'll look at my health app and it's just this wall of numbers and red dots and green arrows, and I just close it.
Because it feels like a chore.
It feels like homework I didn't do. I just feel guilty.
And that's the danger. If you close the app, the tool has failed.
Right.
A calm system, by contrast, is designed to be lived with because it doesn't demand an immediate response. You don't build up that defensive wall against it.
There was a quote in the source that really stuck with me here. It said, "Most days are ordinary, and ordinary days are where independence actually lives."
That is such a powerful line.
It felt almost like a slap in the face to the whole crush it culture we live in.
It's a very necessary correction. Tech culture loves the record-breaking day. It loves the marathon or the personal best or the crisis averted.
The extremes.
Yes. But biological independence, your ability to live your life on your own terms as you age, isn't built on the one day you ran a 10K.
No, it's not.
It's built on the 3,000 ordinary Tuesdays where you just walked the dog, carried the groceries, and didn't fall down.
Right. But tech hates ordinary days because there's nothing to alert you about. No one sends a notification saying, "Alert, you are doing totally fine."
But maybe they should.
Oh.
Or rather, maybe the absence of an alert should be the comfort itself.
The silence is the good news.
Exactly. If a system is constantly telling you to optimize it, implies that your ordinary existence just isn't good enough.
It creates a deficit mindset. I'm not walking enough. I'm not sleeping enough.
And the quiet advantage suggests that tech needs to respect the ordinary, not try to reshape every single minute of your life around a correction.
This leads perfectly into the data itself, because I want to talk about how we actually interpret these numbers.
This is key.
The source material uses two terms that I found really helpful: judgment versus orientation.
This is a massive psychological shift. Think about how most apps present data to you today. You wake up and you check your sleep score. Let's say it's at 65. What does that feel like?
It feels like I failed a test. I immediately feel guilty. I'm just like, "Sorry, teacher, I watched Netflix too late last night."
Exactly. It's a grade. And when you get a bad grade, what do?
You feel shame.
You feel shame or you get defensive. You might even stop wearing the tracker entirely because you just don't want the judgment anymore.
Yeah, I've definitely taken the watch off on a bad week.
That is the loud approach in a nutshell.
So how does orientation change that dynamic?
Think about a compass. If you are hiking and you look at a compass and it says you are heading north, but you actually wanted to head northeast, the compass isn't judging you.
Right, it's not flashing red saying wrong direction, loser.
It's simply orienting you. It just says, here's where you are relative to where you want to go.
That is a subtle but absolutely huge difference. One feels like a boss yelling at you, and the other feels like a map.
Correct. If we view health data as orientation, it reinforces your autonomy.
You're in charge.
The text explicitly says, patterns reveal more than single readings ever can. If you view a bad sleep score as just a single data point in a 3-month pattern, it's not a failure anymore.
It's just context.
Yes. You can look at it and say, oh, I traveled this week, so my recovery is down. That makes sense.
That makes sense. That's the key phrase right there. Instead of "I'm failing," it's "I understand."
And that understanding builds confidence. The whole goal of this quiet philosophy is for the user to understand their own long-term trajectories.
To see the big picture.
You shouldn't be dependent on the machine to tell you if you're okay. You should use the machine to confirm what you're already feeling or to see the things that are just too slow to feel.
Okay, so we have the philosophy down. Biology is slow, tech is fast, and we need to stop treating our bodies like we live in an emergency room.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the actual application here. The source material comes from the Finch Q team. How are they actually building this? Because frankly, building an app that doesn't try to hook you seems like a terrible business model in 2026.
It is definitely counter-economic in today's attention economy.
Yeah.
But they seem to be betting entirely on durability over addiction.
Durability.
Yes, they explicitly outline their constraints. Finch Q does not label. It does not diagnose. It does not intervene.
Wow.
This is the big one. It explicitly does not compete for your attention in urgent moments.
So if I'm super stressed out at work and my heart rate is spiking, it's not going to buzz me to do a breathing exercise.
No, because what would that actually achieve? If you are stressed, you probably already know you are stressed. A buzzer just adds to your cognitive load.
That is surprisingly bold because I think a lot of people buy these devices specifically to be told when something is wrong in the moment.
True.
If Finch Q isn't an alarm system, then what is it?
The exact phrase they use is making long-term functional stability visible.
Unpack that for me. Functional stability.
Okay, let's go back to a time-lapse idea. Imagine a flower blooming. If you just sit there and stare at it, you see nothing. It looks completely static. But if you take a photo every single hour and play it back, the movement is explosive.
You see the whole pattern unfold.
Yes. Our health is exactly like that flower. We don't notice our balance degrading over 5 years. We don't notice our gait speed slowing down by 1% a year.
Because it's too slow to feel day to day.
Until one day we trip on a rug and can't catch ourselves.
Right. And the loud tech waits for the fall to alert you. It just screams fall detected.
Exactly. The quiet tech, the Finch Q approach, is trying to give you that time-lapse view before the fall ever happens.
Wow.
It wants to show you the trend line of your stability over months and years.
So it's less about stand-up right now and a lot more about, hey, over the last 6 months, your variance has increased.
Yes. And the core value there is clarity. It helps you interpret your own continuity.
So you can make adjustments on your own terms.
Right. It's not about intervening in the moment. It's about informing the overarching strategy of your life. It allows you to ask, is my routine working? Instead of, did I win today?
It sounds like it requires a lot more patience from the user, though.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest challenge with this approach. We are so conditioned to want quick fixes.
We want the instant gratification.
Quiet tech requires a user who is willing to engage with the long now. It's not for the person who wants six-pack abs in a week. It's for the person who wants to be walking independently in 20 years.
The source mentions that steadiness is the more durable approach. I really like that word, durable.
It's crucial here. If your health system annoys you, you'll take it off. That's not durable.
Nope.
If it causes anxiety, you'll just ignore it. That's not durable either. But a system that sits quietly in the background, simply observing and offering context when you actually need it, that is something you can wear for a decade.
It's the difference between a sprint coach who yells in your face and a wise mentor who just watches from the sidelines and gives you a nod.
I'd take the mentor any day.
Me too. But playing the skeptic one last time here, if we strip away all the alerts and all the gamification and the good job badges, are we losing something?
It's a fair question.
Because, I mean, gamification works. It gets people off the couch. Is this quiet approach just for people who are already super motivated?
That is a very fair critique. The loud tech and the gamification are very good at initiation. It's good at getting you started on day one.
At closing the rings.
But the research actually suggests it's not great at maintenance. The dopamine hits wear off over time. You eventually get bored of the digital badges.
They stop meaning anything.
The quiet advantage argues that for long-term health, the kind that lasts decades, intrinsic motivation and a deep understanding of your own patterns are vastly more powerful than a digital gold star.
So loud gets you to the gym on January 1st, but quiet keeps you walking in July.
That's a brilliant way to put it. Quiet is about integration into your actual life, not slapping an artificial layer on top of it.
We've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the language of urgency versus the seasons of biology.
Yes.
We've looked at how loud tech fragments our attention and can actually blind us to the big picture of our health.
And we've explored that vital shift from using data for judgment where we grade ourselves to using it for orientation. where we navigate our lives.
It really all comes down to that distinction between a tool that demands you act now versus a tool that helps you see what holds over time.
That is the perfect summary. The loud tool demands reaction. The quiet tool supports awareness.
There is a quote near the very end of the source that I think perfectly encapsulates this entire philosophy. It says, "The quiet advantage is not about doing less. It is about focusing on what lasts."
And what lasts is rarely the emergency of the moment. It's the pattern. It's the baseline. It's the ordinary day.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought that I've been mulling over since I first read this material.
Let's hear it.
We've spent this deep dive criticizing the beeps and the buzzes, but here is the provocative question. If we actually stripped them all away right now, would we still know how to listen to our bodies?
Oh, that is the uncomfortable question.
Seriously, have we become so addicted to the alert that we've lost the ability to feel the steadiness?
It's entirely possible.
If your watch didn't tell you that you slept poorly, would, it didn't buzz to tell you to breathe, would you even realize you were holding your breath?
We talk a lot about interoception in the scientific community. That's the term for feeling your internal state. And we may be actively outsourcing our interoception to Silicon Valley.
Outsourcing our own feelings.
Reclaiming that ability, learning to feel the signal from the inside rather than waiting for the signal on the outside.
Yeah.
That might be the hardest part of switching to a calm system. But it might also be the most important.
It's a bit scary to think about. Silence can be incredibly loud if you're not used to it.
Indeed. But maybe it's time we start listening to it.
Something to think about the next time your wrist buzzes and scares the life out of you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the quiet advantage.
Stay steady.
See you next time.